right, let's move on and talk about Mastek. They've acquired a US-based company, MST Solutions. The company will pay an upfront consideration of $76.6 million for this acquisition, and the acquired company is estimated to have annual revenues of about $30 million. To discuss the way forward, we are joined by Hiral Chandrana, the global CEO of Mastek. Hiral, morning, and thanks so much for joining in. This is a fairly large acquisition. I think the overall acquisition consideration is 600 crore rupees, which is nearly 75% of the cash that you had on your books, which was about 800 crore rupees. The annual revenues of the acquired company is about 235 crore, which is more than 10% of your FY22 annual. So this is a large acquisition. You've been scanning for acquisitions. The last time we spoke, you said that you had nearly 50 targets on your watch list. You zeroed in on MST. Could you tell us the reason why, and also just give us the margin picture of this acquired company?
Sure, absolutely. Thanks for having me in the show, Arima. This is truly exciting, a big milestone for Mastek. As you know, our last acquisition was more than a couple of years back, and you're very true. We have been aggressively looking for opportunities in the space of cloud platforms, in the space of CX, and data, and this met a lot of criteria that we had in terms of the Americas market. That's a market that we've been focused on growing exponentially. It also brings to us the Salesforce ecosystem expertise. As you might know, Salesforce is a massive economy. It's a $25 billion company. There are 225,000 consultants in the Salesforce ecosystem, and they're expecting that to double in the next 2 to 3 years. So it's a massive market opportunity for us. Also very complementary with what Mastek brings to the table. As you know, we're strong in Oracle, we're strong in some of the digital engineering capabilities, and MST Solutions really provides that CX and Salesforce expertise. Salesforce is no longer CRM, it is Sales Cloud, Services Cloud, Marketing Cloud, Integration Cloud, and even some industry solutions around healthcare and life sciences, as well as state and local government that this company brings to the table. So yeah, truly exciting time frame with the tremendous value that we can potentially unlock.
And margins? Hiral, what about the margins of the acquired company? Will it be?
Yeah, so let me address the financials a bit. The company actually is, as you know, we're in the quiet period before our results later this week, so I cannot give specifics, but the margins are in the same range as our company margins, so we don't see too much dilution from that perspective. The growth opportunity of this organization, like I said, is tremendous. It's currently primarily an Americas-focused business. It brings with it about 8 Fortune 1000 clients, including financial services, healthcare, state and local government, and manufacturing. So it kind of boosts our profile of enterprise accounts, ability for us to cross-sell and mine together, and of course, take the Salesforce capabilities to our own accounts in Mastek. In terms of just the kind of the roadmap, the company, like you said, did a little short of about 29 million in the last 12 months. But with a tremendous roadmap, we believe Salesforce is a massive economy which can grow to about 150, 200 million for us as we look at our 1 billion vision in the next few years. So from that perspective, we're very bullish about how MST Solutions really complements Mastek. But Rima, from a margins perspective, it's comparable to the Mastek profile.
All right, margins are comparable to the Mastek performance. Mr. Chandrana, good morning, and thanks a lot for joining us. This is Pavitra. So, speaking about this acquisition, you've used a large chunk of the cash that you had in your books. You had around 800 crores. You've used 600 on this. Does it mean that we're not going to see any more acquisitions in the near future?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. We, like I said, we'll give the specifics later this week when we announce our results. But this was a combination of cash as well as debt, and so it was not all cash in terms of funding this acquisition. And so that's one point. And second is, we had laid out even a couple of months back during one of our investor days in April a 3 to 4 year roadmap of inorganic activity, right? In addition to our organic focus. And that inorganic roadmap does have multiple other acquisitions in the future. We do feel bullish about the cloud platform space, particularly with Azure and AWS, as well as on the data space. So those would be the next focus areas when it comes to future M&A.
Hi, Mr. Chandrana.
A little bit about the company itself. I mean, Thiru, who's the CEO of Meta Softtech, they go by MST Solutions, has built this rock solid company for the last decade, last 10 years. In fact, coincidentally, Mastek celebrated 40 years and MST celebrated 10 years this month. The company has got about 320 employees with some strong delivery capabilities in Chennai and Trichy as well. And their US headquarters is in Phoenix area. So we get a really good delivery and capacity capability as well. Cultural fit wise, the teams have really gelled. We feel that there's great chemistry between the teams. And so beyond the financials, the growth opportunity, the true complementary nature of our companies, we're really sort of liking the whole cultural element in the value system of MST as well.
Okay, understood. Mr. Chandrana, you said that you're using this to expand your footprint in the Americas market. Would this acquisition have optimized that for you, or would you need more to sort of bring it in line with the vision that you have? And how would this change your geographical footprint now? Because as of now, the UK was your dominant market.
That is correct. I mean, the UK will continue to be a dominant market for us, and we see great growth potential in the public sector and many other sectors in the UK. So that's definitely a continuing focus for us. This definitely brings a huge boost to the Americas market. And again, it's across dimensions of Fortune 1000 clients, industry sectors, and capabilities, right? So it addresses all those three dimensions. However, we still have a long ways to go in America, and there's a huge potential beyond where we are today. So this presents a great additional ammunition for us to turbocharge some of the market share that we can go after in the Americas. But there's more to come, and we need to do a lot more in the US beyond this.
Hiral, UK is about 68% of your overall revenues? Approximately?
Sorry, can you say that again?
The UK geography is about 68% of your overall revenues?
Yeah, it's in the range of about 65, 66%.
Okay. That's right. So as a part of your Vision 2025, what is the geographical split that you're looking at between US, UK? You also have presence in Middle East.
That is correct. Yeah, I mean, we have presence in Middle East, and we have an interesting growing presence in Europe, which is outside of UK as well in some of the markets. What we had shared is that we want to get our Americas and US business closer to 1/3 of our overall profile mix. We feel that that's a good milestone for us in the next 3 or so years, because that brings a little bit more diversification and balance. We do expect Middle East and Europe to continue to have a presence, and then UK will still continue to grow organically, but roughly about 30 to 33% is what we're looking at for the US share in about 3 years.
All right, Mr. Chandrana, like you pointed out, you are going to declare results later this week, so I don't expect you to give me too many numbers, but if you can give us a sense of what the demand environment is looking like overall, if you could help us with that.
Yeah, so overall, like you said, with the quiet period, I can share limited, but we've continued to see good pipeline and good demand conversations. And there's obviously a lot of macro economic factors that all of you know about across the board, with respect to inflation, with respect to supply chain, with respect to some of the delays in decisions. But I think from a demand and pipeline perspective, we're still seeing some healthy conversations across the board. We believe our fundamental strategy is very strong. We've created a few integrated offerings, which is really resonating with our clients. And the MST Solutions experience in the Salesforce ecosystem, as well as in the overall CX kind of economy, really brings some really solid ammunition, like I said earlier, add to our portfolio, we can start now looking at front office to back office transformations. We can start looking at the entire value chain, at least in certain industries where we're good at, right? So yeah, we're very excited about this milestone.
Just one final question, Hiral. You said that Meta Softtech offers tremendous opportunity. It has 8 Fortune 500 clients, and there is a lot of opportunity to cross-sell and mine your existing clients with, the consultancy services that it brings on board. Could you tell us what is the growth opportunity? Revenues for Meta Softtech were about $29 million this year. How much can the growth be for this entity next year?
Yeah, again, specific numbers I would not be able to share. We do believe that just if you take a look at Salesforce as a company, Salesforce is no longer a CRM company. They are a customer 360-degree platform now, which cuts across sales, service, marketing, integration, experience, commerce. Some of the work that we actually do in Salesforce already is around the commerce space. So if you look at that overall economy, Salesforce themselves are looking to become a 50 billion organization, right? From 25 billion to 50 billion. So if you just sheerly kind of look at the market potential, and we're nearly not addressing that entire economy, but even if you're looking at a part of that economy, it's just a massive potential for us to take MST Solutions to the Americas and even to the UK, Europe, and Middle East markets eventually. So we're really sort of looking at not just leveraging the Salesforce potential, but also our own account potential in terms of grabbing market share and being much more visible with CXOs within the organization. It opens up doors for even new stakeholders. The chief sales officer, the chief marketing officer, the chief data officer. So it does give us permission and a seat at the table to discuss many more areas which we were not in a position prior to this.
All right, Mr. Chandrana, we will leave it at that today. Thank you very much for joining us and taking us through this acquisition and explaining what it can really do for your business as well. But with that, we're going to get into a short break now. Up next, we'll shift focus to the world of commodities. We'll have Manisha Gupta join us to tell us what's going on with crude, and we'll get a conversation going as well.